Jesus Christ is the most influential man who ever lived. His name shapes our calendars, cultures, and civilizations, yet most people barely scratch the surface of who he really was. Today, we're diving deep into 30 mind-blowing facts about Jesus that will challenge everything you thought you knew. This isn't just a history lesson, it's an exploration of a life that defies all logic and expectation. Let's get into it. Jesus wasn't raised in Bethlehem, but in Nazareth, a town so obscure people joked, "Can anything good come from Nazareth?" The King of Kings grew up in a place nobody cared about, with no royal privilege or status. His story began in total humility, making his influence even more astonishing. His power didn't come from wealth or reputation, it came from somewhere else entirely. Despite his global impact, Jesus never traveled more than 200 miles from home. No world tours, no bestsellers, just a small group of followers in a tiny region. Yet his message exploded across continents and centuries, proving its power wasn't in marketing but in the message itself. That's a paradox no one else in history can claim. Jesus was multilingual in a world where most were illiterate. He spoke Aramaic with the people, read Hebrew in the synagogues, and likely understood Greek to reach a wider audience. This made him a master communicator, able to connect with everyone from fishermen to governors. His words transcended every barrier. So, here's a shocker. Jesus had brothers and sisters named in the Bible itself. He grew up in a normal, bustling family, sharing chores and meals like anyone else. This grounds his story in real, everyday life. He wasn't just divine, he was deeply human too. Before changing the world, Jesus worked as a carpenter, a craftsman, builder, and laborer. He spent years with calloused hands, earning a living through tough manual work. This choice connected him to ordinary people and gave dignity to everyday labor. He lived in the trenches of real life, not in an ivory tower. Jesus didn't start his public ministry until he was 30. 30 years of quiet preparation for 3 years that changed history. He waited, showing patience and trust in God's timing. His impact proves it's never too late to change the world. Jesus fasted 40 days in the wilderness. No food, just spiritual battle. At his weakest, he faced direct temptation from the devil and resisted every offer. This wasn't just survival, it was victory over both body and spirit. His strength came from an unbreakable connection to God. Jesus' first miracle, turning water into wine at a wedding. He saved a celebration from disaster, showing compassion in everyday moments. His miracles weren't just dramatic, they were deeply personal. God cares about our joy, even in the small things. Jesus healed the blind, deaf, crippled, and even raised the dead multiple times. His miracles covered every need, from restoring sight to conquering death. These acts weren't just signs, they were proof of divine authority. He was the master of life itself. Jesus walked on water during a raging storm, stunning his disciples. He even invited Peter to join him, defying the laws of physics. This wasn't a trick, it was a display of total authority over nature. His followers realized they were witnessing something beyond human. Another time, Jesus calmed a violent storm with just 3 words. "Quiet, be still." The wind and waves obeyed instantly, leaving his disciples in awe. He didn't pray for calm, he commanded it. This was power over creation itself. After his resurrection, over 500 people saw Jesus alive. The Apostle Paul even challenged skeptics to ask these witnesses themselves. This wasn't a legend or hallucination, it was a public event. The sheer number of eyewitnesses makes the resurrection one of history's best attested events. Jesus fulfilled over 300 Old Testament prophecies, statistically impossible by chance. These were specific predictions about his birth, life, betrayal, and death. The odds are astronomical, pointing to a divine plan. His life was orchestrated from the very beginning. Jesus predicted his own death and resurrection down to the details. He told his disciples exactly what would happen, and it did. He walked toward his fate with full knowledge, proving he was no victim. His foreknowledge is compelling evidence of his divinity. Jesus' name means the Lord saves, his mission declared from birth. Every time someone said his name, they spoke his purpose. He wasn't just a teacher, he was the Savior. His identity and mission were inseparable. Jesus' public ministry began with his baptism by John. Though sinless, he was baptized to identify with humanity and fulfill all righteousness. At that moment, the heavens opened and God declared, "This is my Son." It was a divine announcement. The mission had begun. Jesus never wrote a book, yet the Bible about him is the most influential ever. His teachings were passed on orally, then written by his followers. The power wasn't in ink, but in the words and the life behind them. His message changed the world without a single written page from him. The Sermon on the Mount is history's most influential moral teaching. Delivered to ordinary people, it flipped the world's values upside down. Love your enemies. Blessed are the meek. These ideas shaped ethics and human rights. Its impact is still felt everywhere today. Jesus taught in parables, simple stories with profound meaning. From the Good Samaritan to the prodigal son, these tales redefined forgiveness, grace, and what it means to be a neighbor. They're timeless, relatable, and endlessly deep. We're still uncovering their wisdom 2,000 years later. True leadership, Jesus showed, is about serving others. He washed his disciples' feet, the job of the lowest servant, just before his death. This radical act redefined greatness as humility and service. It's a lesson that still challenges our ideas of power. Jesus was betrayed by Judas, one of his closest friends, for 30 pieces of silver. The betrayal was sealed with a kiss, a symbol of friendship twisted into treachery. Jesus knew it was coming and still showed love to Judas. It's a heartbreaking example of grace in the face of evil. Jesus' crucifixion is a historical fact, recorded by both Christian and non-Christian sources. Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor, ordered his execution. Archaeology confirms these details, grounding the story in real history. The reality of his death makes the resurrection claim even more powerful. During Jesus' crucifixion, darkness covered the land for 3 hours. This wasn't a normal eclipse. Ancient historians outside the Bible recorded it too. The cosmos itself seemed to react to his death. It was a sign that something world-changing was happening. At the moment Jesus died, the temple curtain tore from top to bottom. This massive veil separated people from God's presence. Its tearing symbolized that, through Jesus, anyone could now approach God directly. The old barriers were gone. Access was open to all. Jesus rose from the dead on the third day, confirmed dead, buried, and guarded. The tomb was empty, and he appeared physically to his followers. This is the cornerstone of Christianity. If true, it changes everything. His resurrection proves he is who he claimed to be. The empty tomb remains unexplained by any natural theory. Disciples stealing the body? Impossible. Authorities moving it? They'd have shown it. Every alternative falls apart, leaving the empty tomb as a silent witness. The resurrection stands as history's greatest mystery. After 40 days, Jesus ascended into heaven before his disciples' eyes. He didn't just vanish, he rose physically, promising to return. The ascension was the final proof of his victory and glory. It left his followers with hope and a mission. From 12 disciples, Jesus' movement now counts over 2 billion followers worldwide. It's the largest, most diverse movement in history, spanning every continent and culture. It's spread by love, not force, surviving centuries of persecution. His global impact is unmatched and unexplainable by human means. More books, songs, and art have been created about Jesus than anyone else, by a massive margin. The greatest artists and composers dedicated their masterpieces to him. His influence shapes Western culture, literature, and music to this day. He is the undisputed king of culture. Jesus' teachings transformed forgiveness, love, human rights, and charity forever. He introduced loving your enemies and caring for the marginalized, ideas that changed the world. His followers built the first hospitals, orphanages, and social welfare systems. He gave humanity a new moral compass. 30 facts later, it's clear Jesus was more than a good teacher. He fulfilled prophecies, commanded nature, conquered death, and launched a movement that shaped history. The evidence, historical, prophetic, and personal, is overwhelming. His story isn't just history, it's the truth that demands a response. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Let me know if you need further tightening or adjustment.